What is up, fanatics? It's 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and that means another episode of HTF Live. Tonight's episode 150. That's a nice round number, right? Sounds pretty good. And we've got a really pleasant episode for you today. So pleasant. No, today I've got two of my best buddies to join me, and we're going to talk about a whole slew of stuff. And I'm going to bring them right now, and maybe you guys can figure out who they are just by their faces. Brett and Joey. Dun dun dun. Welcome, guys.
Hey, Jiles, what's going on?
Hey,
so
guys.
We have to be pleasant. I was planning on going after Joey. I don't know, but
No, it has to be this. It's got to be a pleasant episode.
I see.
Pleasant. I should get some elevator music playing in the background. You could just yeah, let's do this thing. Little Snoop Dogg, kind of the laid back stuff though.
I was gonna say, see, you know you're getting old when you can recognize the music that's playing on Muzak.
I remember when that was new. It's so good.
No.
Hey, I know that
welcome,
song.
guys.
It's just now on piano.
Yeah. So, I think we'll just get right up in here and get to business. I wanted to start out quickly and just let each of you introduce yourselves again to the crowd. So, maybe we got some new folks and they haven't had a chance to meet you yet, and this is your chance to say hi to everybody. So, Brett, knock yourself out. And I'd also like to hear what's new in Brett World.
In Brett World, there we go.
Brett
well,
World.
it's a brand new year, 2022, right? So,
Raise your glasses.
That's right. Thankfully we don't have to write checks anymore. Where you got to remember 2022. But yeah. So if you guys haven't met me, I'm Brett Bjorkquist. Again, I've been on here a couple times with Jiles. So like I said, love the show. That's where we've met initially, and that's actually where I met Joey before too. So
Bringing people together.
Where we started our conversations. Where I don't think we've ever been on together before, Joey. We just make comments on each other's times when we're on with Jiles.
So what happens is in between shows, Brett will come and be like, "Can you believe that Joey guy?" And Joey's like, "Oh my God, Brett again."
But yeah,
I don't believe that.
So again, I've been through the industry for a little over 20 years now. I got my start, for anybody that's on the West Coast side, over at Good Guys. So working on the retail programming side, building systems for people, programming systems. So like I said, I've been in it for a while. Been on the manufacturing side for a good while too. So I've been at a variety of places, designing a whole bunch of different things, from Harmony remotes, which you can see behind me, Bowers & Wilkins headphones, and then most recently over at Kaleidoscape. And so, like I said, been there for about the last year and a half, where I headed up dealer training and engagement, and then obviously did a lot of consumer stuff as well. So again, you may see me in any of Giles's multiple forums, or on shows like this talking about products. But again, it's always been a love of home theater and really home automation in general. And so I sit on a couple CEDIA boards, which is an industry organization in there as well. And then as of this year, so I actually just started my own business, fresh off for 2022. And so I'm actually
going to be your own boss.
I am going to be my own boss, Jiles.
Awesome.
It was it felt like a good time. Thank you, Joey. So it felt like a good time. And actually, this is the first place that I'm actually discussing this on here. So it's brand new. I'm still picking up some clients and some other stuff. So not too much to discuss from that perspective yet. But yeah, what I want to be able to do is similar to a lot of you guys may have seen me do with Kaleidoscape, which is, spending a lot of time in the forums, answering consumer questions, helping to educate dealers on products, and taking what I did with Kaleidoscape and really amplifying that across multiple manufacturers. So, we all have those products that we love, and I want to make sure that if you're chatting with the dealer, that they're educated and that they know what they're talking about. Or if you catch me in a forum and you happen to be asking as well, that I can help answer those questions as well. So like I said, kind of a brand new project for me, but I'm super excited. And yeah, like I said, just raring to go for the new year.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff. Yeah, I mean, you're jumping off in the deep end. Like, I can do this myself. That's awesome.
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Joey, who are you and why should anybody care?
I don't know about the caring part, but I'm Joey, and I am a movie and music fanatic and home theater enthusiast to the nth degree. I was a dealer for many years, installing mixed-use rooms, little mini movie theaters in people's houses, multi-room audio, video, the whole 9 yards. And so I've just been just fascinated with the industry for years. And most recently, I have gone to work with Indie Audio Labs, who owns Acurus and Aragon, and I take care of covering the southern part of the United States for the company.
That's cool.
So,
so a couple of things I want to call out, Joey. So I think everybody knows I'm a huge Acurus fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go back, I've made, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 videos about Acurus gear over the last couple of years, particularly around the processors, right? And someone has given me some additional external validation for my fanboyness, and maybe you could call that out and tell everybody about it.
I will. I'll be glad to. So, if you are a home theater enthusiast, you're probably aware of AVS Forums, and AVS Forums selected our Acurus 16-channel Muse processor as the pre-pro product of the year for the under $10,000 category. So we are very proud about that. The Muse is like insanely popular around the globe, and it is just a magnificent piece of equipment. So product of the year for the under $10,000 category.
Right on. And okay, as a non-Acurus person, I can give people the real scoop, right? Without any of the salesy, spinny stuff on there. So what has happened to make all the differences? So the guts of the Muse, which are very similar to the bigger brother, the Act 4, are awesome, right? And they, from a sound point of view, it goes toe to toe with Storm, and I think it sounds better than Trinov. Trinov's got a bunch of cool stuff too, that does different things that the Muse can't do. So they're kind of for different users, but from a sound point of view, I like the Muse better. But Acurus finally came out with Aspect, which was kind of the missing piece of the puzzle, right? And that's the auto EQ for the system. And once that piece of the puzzle went in, everybody was like, Shazam, right? That Shazam! What is this thing we have here for less than 10,000? And I think over this last year, I think people have been like, oh, because before, the processor was 100% absolutely targeted towards CI custom installer stuff, right? Because you needed somebody to come in, and if you weren't like Superman, you couldn't do all of the tuning and integration and all that stuff. It was kind of tough, right? It sounds awesome, but there's a lot of work to get it going. But now with Aspect, you just got to boop, 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 and then it's amazing.
It is, the Muse is just straight out of the box. It's unbelievable how it sounds, and that's the first thing people usually say is, "I cannot believe how good this sounds." But then when you add the aspect room correction to it, it takes it to the next level.
Yeah, and from a salesperson point of view, if you think about trying to sell something, the people will have objections to making a purchase. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to buy it because of this thing," right? And when I talk to people, the first thing that they'd always say is, "Oh, there's no built-in auto EQ." Right. And well, now there's Aspect that's purpose built for the tool, and it makes a humongous difference. And I'll tell the story that I always tell about the Muse. So when I first installed the Muse in my theater in the basement, I had the family come in and watch a movie after that, and I didn't tell them I made any change, right? And they don't ever look in the rack. They're just like, "Oh, it's magic. Push the button, you watch the movies," and but they're pretty finicky, right? I mean, they kind of know what's going on. I started playing this movie, and my oldest, he's like, "Dad, stop." I'm like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Do you hear that?" I'm like, "Hear what? What's wrong?" He's like, "No, Dad, it's better. What did you do? What happened?" And he was 10 or 11 at the time. And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Dad, this is good. This is better. I don't know. This is good today." So he didn't know, but that's what it was, right? So it does make a difference. It really does. I mean, it
really does.
The guts and the bits and the design and all that stuff do make a difference, and the Muse brings the goods there. Anyway, a lot of digression. Is that when you digress? Is it called digression? I don't know.
Thanks,
I digress.
It is now.
We'll go with that. Yeah.
Now, Brett, from your point of view, I want to roll back the clock into your history a little bit. So
Sure.
you're, fresh off of Kaleidoscape.
Yep.
And another thing that I fanboy for is Kaleidoscape. And I know that, and I see it right now, Reese Wiggins is in the crowd. And
Reese.
And I don't know if people know who Reese is, but Reese is now associated with Kaleidoscape.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, what's up, Reese? My Strato S. Why you got to be doing this to me? Not even a year in, and you're all like, killing that. It's all about the C and the Terra. Of course, maybe I can find a used one now.
Yeah.
Giles,
Reese, please come back and watch the show again.
That's right. You've scared them off already, Giles.
Scared him off, man. Reese is a great guy now.
Yeah. So here's the thing about the statement. He said, "Ha ha ha." So sorry, and he probably meant like, "Ha, I'm sorry," but I'm reading that as, "Ha ha ha, so sorry." That's how he really said it. He's doing that in his living room right now.
Reese is going to be getting called in tomorrow. Giles, it just makes your Strato S more valuable, right? That's
it's a collector's item. No, but I can't say enough about Kaleidoscape. That is the only way that I consume movies, unless for some reason I can't get it on Kaleidoscape, right? Sure. It's absolutely a game changer. Sure, it costs a lot. Everybody's got those objections. Oh, it's expensive. Whatever. It's worth it. It's totally cool. I do wish that there was a active hacker community that would hack them like TiVo. You remember TiVo? And you remember TiVos? They would come with like
TiVo's
these
still
500
out there.
meg hard drives.
Still around.
But people were like, "Oh, I can hack this, and then here, take this 4 terabyte, and you can just put it in, and it'll work."
And
right, they'd clone it, right, the OS and everything, but they would expand the file system. I'm all like, "I got this 18 terabyte drive. It's just a 6 terabyte SATA drive that's in there. Come on, y'all." Let's do this thing.
All you got to do is get the C.
Reese is
right.
like,
See, Giles is like, "Oh, Brett's not there anymore. Now we can like run it through."
Reese is like, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one thing, and Giles, I know you know this, and Joey, same thing on the Actress and Aragon side.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really about the price of a hard drive, right? You could swap in your own, and it would still cost just as much, because at the end of the day, it's the team of engineers, it's the team of content people, it's all those things that make Kaleidoscape what it is, that really is the cost to it, right?
Oh no, I totally get it, and I was happy to pay the price of entrance for Kaleidoscape. So nobody get me wrong. I mean, this stuff is good. It's good. Okay, Don Hensley, bless his soul. I love you. You're my favorite tonight. So, and Joey, we're getting up into the back end business of Acurus, and I will answer these questions as best I can. So he wants to know RO3D, IMAX Enhanced, DTSX Pro. Any plans to add the codecs? I don't know. So that's the best I got. But any thoughts on that, Joey?
Yeah, there is, and like all companies, we have roadmaps of stuff that we work with and that we're working on, and Brett can probably speak to this part, but the supply chain issues that are going on globally has got most companies, if not all of them, kind of hosed up in their ability to make big changes right now. So some it affects more than other. The chips, are challenging to get up with, and but yes, we absolutely have the DTX Pro and IMAX Enhanced is on the near field roadmap to implement, and Aura 3D. We keep having requests for that because we're a global company, and so we serve Europe, of course, where Aura 3D is big. I just don't find a lot of people in the States. I would be interested, and I know Don. We're in a Facebook forum together, and I've had conversations with Don before. Yeah, he's a real big enthusiast. So he's really into this, and I love that. But my question is typically is, what content are you listening to that's got Aura 3D?
Most people's answer to that is, I don't have any content.
I don't.
I just want it because the other ones have it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
no,
they do.
super exciting though, on the other two pieces though.
Yeah. And like Joey said, it's tough. And obviously, we all know Don, but I know Don as well. So what's going on, Don? And but it is tough to to get the chips in, and then you've got development and what happens. It's so hard sometimes to figure out what's a software update and what's a hardware update. I mean, on one hand, it's not
right.
We can figure that out pretty quickly, but in trying to figure out and what's the next chip, are you buying this chip? Or for a lot of manufacturers right now, they have to bet really big on chips because they're so hard to get that if they have an opportunity to, they're either paying huge third-party prices, which are sometimes 10x or higher, to be able to not have to have a whole bunch of them, but to be able to kind of grab them off the third-party market. Or if they're big enough, they're placing a huge bet on the existing hardware and chipset that that they have to buy now, which means that they're not going to be able to change over as fast in the future. And so that's not specific to anybody's product, on here, but just in general, I think that's an industry thing that we're going to see for a little bit is what happens with the chipsets, how hard is it again still right now to get them. And then what does that do for the next generation of components? Because same thing with the chip manufacturers. If you're going gangbusters round the clock on the existing chips, you don't have a chance to be able to turn over the line, for the new ones as well. So, just something to kind of think about in there, not specific to it, but definitely something to think about, as we're buying components and new components. Is my guess is you'll see there's always new stuff. But I think we saw that even at, CES, which maybe we'll chat about a little bit later on, but what products are actually coming out, which ones aren't, and which ones are waiting for chipsets.
Right.
And like AVRs, they've still been hard to be able to get around, from any manufacturer right now.
Yeah.
So.
And one of the cool things about of our line is the fact that we really look at long-term investment value, and that's why we make our HDMI boards and our DSP modules field upgradable. So it's when tech does change or come out, like you said, Brett, is it software, is it a firmware update, or is it an upgrade to the product? So we try to have our products covered in all directions.
The only thing that's better than having a Acurus Muse or an Act 4 in your home theater is having an Acurus Muse or an Act 4 with a Kaleidoscape in your home theater.
I can agree with that. Absolutely.
No, seriously, dude, my system has become so simple now. So I have the core, right, the center, which is Act 4, and I have a Kaleidoscape and I have an NVIDIA Shield. Right. And now I have other stuff that comes in and out, like I like my Zapedia and all that kind of stuff too. But for the most part, when I watch a movie, it's coming off the Kaleidoscape. If I'm going to stream, it comes off the Shield. Now I've got an Apple TV, but I almost never use it. And that's just kind of user preference. I mean, that's for most people, that's all you need. Kaleidoscape, one of the two streamers, and there are only two that you should have, the Apple or you should have the Shield, and then an awesome pre-pro amplification, speakers, some DSP for subs or whatever you need on the outside. And dude, you are done. You are rocking. I don't know. And
I agree.
That's all I've got to say about that.
That's right. We got nothing to say, Giles. That is dead on.
Everybody's like,
a control system to run it, and if you got the Kaleidoscape, it's sending out the codes to work with your control system. So, I mean,
that's true. I need somebody
what a combination.
from Snap One that's got an in with
hey, Reese knows somebody.
That's what he does. I'm like, so I think I've decided that what I want in my theater is the Control 4 controller and the what is the Neo, whatever Neo the remote is.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And I want to integrate that with the lights. And I've got this awesome Seymour screen that opens and closes, and I need to integrate all that stuff. And I think that's the system that I want to go with.
There you go.
I think that's
that'd be awesome.
I will, Giles, let's chat afterwards because I've got, I'm actually getting ready to put a C4 system in my house.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. And then I'm actually getting, not specifically as a dealer, but I'm actually getting C4 certified at the end of this month. So I was
Well,
chatting
you
with
can
some
do
of the
all
guys.
my programming then.
That's right. That's right. So I can do it monthly. It could be done remotely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If not,
That's
I'll just take
exactly
a
right.
trip out there.
There you go. You come on to Colorado, I'll fly you.
That's
No,
right.
see, and that's so if you look above your shoulder to the right, I guess you've got the Harmony up there, right? And the great thing about
Yes.
Harmony is it's self programmable. So in Control 4 world, what's kind of painful for me is my system is not very static, meaning that
Sure.
I'm bringing stuff in
Yeah.
all the time. So I'm all like, okay, I want everything to work together so I can get the experience, so I can really understand what it's like. So when people ask me, I can really uh, give them an educated opinion about it, right? Working in a full harmonious system. And it's hard because, I set up C4 once. Well, okay, I get a new thing. Well, what do I do now? Right. And I call and they're all like, that'll be $400. I'm like, no, right. So that's why I've resisted up to this point.
Sure.
But man, there's so much stuff that it does. I have to jump in. I've just got to do it, and I'll just have to feel the pain or whatever it takes,
Yeah. Well, I think it's again, one, like a lot of things, those prices have become more reasonable for a lot of people. And like you said, it's just when you start putting stuff together, we all get there. Like I said, I mean, I used to head up Harmony for custom install, and so again, I'm always a believer that, if I can find a great product that costs a little bit less but allows me to do 80% of the same stuff, I'm all for that. That's
Reese
right.
knows
Reese.
the secrets.
That's
Good friends
right.
with the
Reese.
programmer. But I
That's
think
right.
that is one of those things that once you really start building stuff out, once you put all those components together, and again, you're different, like I'm different, where I'm constantly switching out lighting control systems and source units and this and that, because I'm always testing different things out and seeing how they work together. But if you're putting your theater together, I have to say you're missing out if you don't have a good control system that allows you to, either control the lighting system or, shades in the room, or if you do have an anamorphic lens or or a masking screen. There's so much cool technology that's out there. But if you got to keep hitting 5 different buttons, and I always say it's not about, the 3 of us, because we'll just hit those buttons. It's like, that's just part of the tech, right? Having different things and putting things together. But I need to know that, when my wife and my daughter walks into the room, they should be able to watch a movie as well, right? I always say, can the babysitter walk in? Can your mother-in-law walk in and turn on a movie? Because in so many of our households, I think it becomes, well, I only watch a movie if, Jiles is turning it on, because heaven forbid I have to do it myself because there's 4 remotes sitting on the counter. And I think that's where, the value add, be it on the, on the Harmony side, which obviously, from a product side is going out, they still support it on the back end. But, Control 4 and, same in Savant and Crestron, and, it all depends on where you want to go. But I think, C4 does a great job of making it so it's easy enough to change those things out, Giles. So if you do swap out, a screen or a projector or a pre-pro or something like that, nowadays you can do it remotely. So you really can,
Right.
like reset in there. But you're welcome to call me up once I know how to do it.
Right on. And I've become a big Snap fan.
Yeah, I think they do great stuff over there. Like I said, I've been a fan for them for a while. They're making great product. They get it out there. Their overseas products and some of these others are just great for being able to remotely dial into systems. And then when you pair that up with with the C4 system, I think it puts it over the top for being able to simply change things out. And I think that changes, to your point, Giles, and it's right. But, I think it lowers in cost where it doesn't have to be $400 because somebody doesn't have to go out there. It's that truck roll for a dealer that's expensive, and realistically, that $400, they're not making any money off you. I mean, the reality is by the time they get somebody out there, they can't do a bigger job that day. That's not where a dealer is making their money. They're doing that because they want to keep you happy. But I think nowadays, since you can do it remotely, you actually have that capability of, being able to call up whoever that dealer is and saying, hey, I just swapped in a new, I'm swapping out this pre-pro for that pre-pro, can you do this? Or, this, panel for that panel, can
I've
you
got the
set it
new
up
player. It's plugged into Ethernet. Do your thing. Yeah.
You got it. And they can really do it if you plugged it in, which isn't difficult. We all know it's, at most nowadays it's, it's Ethernet and HDMI, right? But you're able to actually dial into those things remotely, and somebody can actually probably make those changes for pretty inexpensive, I'd say. So, like I said, I'm getting ready to play with mine. I've obviously been using Harmony for years, but I'm at that point too where it's like, well, you know what? It doesn't do IP control of my new TV. It doesn't do IP control of my AVR. It doesn't do, and those are the things that I want to be able to control as well. So, again, I think it's a great platform. There's lots of great platforms out there, but I am a big C4 fan and a big Snap fan.
Yeah, and I just had Triad on not too long ago, which is one of the Snap the Snap brands. And then that stuff's just awesome, and I can't wait till I can get up to what is it, Portland, somewhere up in the Pacific Northwest where they are. Washington, yeah, and go see that stuff, because the ones that you were telling me about, the Cinema Extreme Pro certified special ones or whatever, what is the Cinema Extreme, I forget the model, but I want to check those out and listen to them. I think
I would love to hear those too.
Yeah,
right on.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a second before we move on to the next topic, and I want to say hi to a few people that are out there. So Hi-Fi Haven is here with us. Hey man, My Mel's with us. Reese is out there, and he's been a really good sport with my ribbing, so I really appreciate that. Double A, Gary coming out of South Africa down in Cape Town is with us early in the morning. And it's just scrolling. Some folks that I haven't seen here. One guy who's all like, I'm subscribing to this place. Oh, he doesn't like it. Easy Home Theater Tech is here. Don's here. So many people. Anyway, everybody, thanks so much for joining us tonight and sharing in our enthusiasm for all things audio video. And speaking of people that share our enthusiasm of all this kind of stuff, CES just happened, and that's a Consumer Electronics show, and obviously it's much broader than simply home theater or hi-fi. I mean, it's everything gaming, PC. EVs were very well represented there, and I'm curious if there's anybody out in the crowd that saw anything come across that they thought was super spectacular there. A few things that I'm going to call out. And let me see if I can think of some things that are stuff this group would be interested in. So SVS, they released the new versions of their lifestyle products. So, their powered bookshelf speakers, and then their little amp, that's their streaming amp. So the new versions of those are out. And I don't know that this was announced at CES, but I've seen other people talking about it. So the information has to be out in the wild from somewhere. But they're doing an in-wall subwoofers soon.
Yes.
So
that was out there. They had them in the shows. I think
they had them there. Okay, awesome.
Yep. So looked super clean, and everybody that I saw talking about it seemed to have positive things to say. I think SVS is, again, makes some solid products out there. So
yeah, and that's their. Now, do you know if that's going to be targeted at the CI market, or is that going to be for end user installation?
I think most of those typically end up getting positioned as a CI product. SVS is one of those brands that, started their roots in that, direct to consumer, format, right? So I'm sure if you're a consumer and you feel like, I know Don does, because he's been ripping up and putting in a new garage system in there. So for a lot of people, they feel comfortable doing that. So I'm sure they can probably get them. But I think most things that come in from a CI, from an in-wall perspective, tend to go towards that CI, market, just because so many people have a hesitancy to cut holes in their walls, and
especially,
well, I think especially with a sub, and true of any speaker, but at least with the speaker, you kind of figure out, how much separation do I want? What's the right height? Most of those things are kind of somewhat easy to be able to figure out. But I think when you get into in-wall subs, placement of subwoofers and low frequency becomes such a big deal, because you always have these huge wavelengths,
and you can't move the in-walls once they're in.
Yeah. Oh, I don't quite like it here. Let's move it a foot over to the other side.
One shot.
And there's benefits to it, like a lot of in-wall speakers, and and just the way that it runs off. But yeah, I think when you get into CI stuff, I was having a great chat with Keith. Actually, Joey and I were chatting about this the other day. So
Keith, which one?
I'm sorry. So Keith Yates.
Okay,
So
yeah.
so Keith
Oh,
does.
he's all like, yeah, I just need Keith. We'll kick you
Sorry.
in. Talking about, hey man, you want to come design some stuff for me? I got like 8
Sorry,
million for my room.
am I name dropping? You know,
Yeah, I was
$100,000
Keith. Oh, you
design
don't
centers?
know
Yeah.
him? Oh man.
But I promise I was just thinking through the first name and then going, just like you said, Josh, going through all my Keith names, right?
Yeah.
Trying to remember the last name in there. So, but again, I had a great conversation with them the other day. But you know, that's one of those things where, you know, when you're putting in wall subs in, when you're doing those things, it makes sense to have real designs. It makes sense to have somebody that actually knows what they're doing, that can really look and make sure that, you know, you're not going to end up putting the sweet spot seats in the dead spot, you know, of the wave, you know, on those subs.
Sure.
So
You don't want to put it in a room null.
that's exactly right. You know, and so I think I'm sure consumers could buy it on the SVS side. It looks great though. It looked like it was a double sub.
Yeah.
And then again, I'm sure they have the, you know, the amps to go with it and everything else. So, you know, again, should be a good win for SVS, I'd say.
Yep, absolutely. So a company that I really love, Samsung, and you know, I'm on a big Samsung kick. And you know, speaking about cutting holes in the wall, I just installed one of the frame televisions, which is awesome. It's not like the best picture quality TV out there, but you know, it's a lifestyle product, and the idea is that it looks like artwork until you turn it on to watch TV, and then you can watch TV. So we have it in our dining area, the breakfast nook, and you know, it's a picture during the day. Well, it's a picture like 99% of the time, but sometimes we turn the news on and that kind of stuff, and you know, watch television, and it's just absolutely awesome. But the thing is, there's no furniture, so we you know, we had no place to put the guts of this thing. So you got the television, but then you got this box. It's like 14 inches long. It's pretty big, and you have to put it in the wall, right? And we didn't want any wires or anything. So this was my first television install where I did electricity in the wall, tapping into the house electrical, running all that stuff in, and then putting a big box behind the television. And I'm all like, you know, the box was like that big, and I'm all, it went from, you know, stud to stud, and I'm like, oh, the drywall, oh, and I got a little tiny square. I'm like, is there anything back there? Is there anything I cut it a little bit bigger. I'm like, oh, I can't do, I'm committed now. So you know, I just dropped that video last week, I guess it was. But yeah, man, the part that you don't see is just the humongous fear and anxiety I had as I was cutting out this wall, because you know, this isn't something you're just like, oh, let me put a little paint on there to fix it.
That's right. Little toothpaste in the hole, you're good to go. No,
but, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but it's a great way to do it now. You know, and I just did something similar. So I just put up, I got a new an 83-inch A90J, right? So Sony panel.
So that's the one I'm looking at for my living room.
Again, 2 thumbs up from my perspective. Like I said, that's, you know, when we always ask, what do you buy with your own money, right? You know, and you know, so I put that up, and same thing. I wanted that thing. You know, these TVs get thinner and thinner, but then you end up with a 4-inch, 5-inch, you know, articulating bracket on the backside, and you know, and it's still sitting 6 inches off the wall, just like the old plasmas used to. And so same thing. So I put this little strong box, and it goes flush in the back, and then it's actually got power built into it. So, you know, and you know, and I've done it a couple times. I have one in my master bedroom, smaller TV, but you know, same box. And you know, it's so much cleaner when you can put stuff in the back of the box. You know, so you can put that Shield Pro, or you can put that Apple TV, or you know, whatever you want in there. You know, and be able to just have it nice and flush right up against the wall. I mean, I think again, it really it makes a, you know, whatever it is, LED, OLED, QL, OLED, you know, whatever technology you're putting on the wall, you know, it truly gets it up against the wall, right? It maximizes it versus I still know plenty of houses, and it's great, you know, when it's sitting on a countertop or doing something else, because maybe you need the component shelves, but it just feels like then you could have bought a TV. Right? You know, you didn't need it as thin. You know, it always looks super cool when they're just, you know, mounted right up against the wall, and you look at it from the side and you can't really see. It's just, you know, always good.
Yeah. And so for Don, for our use case, there's no furniture. There's nothing under it. It's just, there's a wall of photographs, and this is another photograph on that wall.
There you go.
and there's no furniture underneath it. I mean, so everything had to live inside of the wall. So it's completely seamless. It's just a television there, and it looks like a piece of artwork until you hit the power button on the remote. So, but I agree. Yeah. So the frame, like many others, has a single wire that connects to the television and then cables down to the box. So if you're in easy mode zone where you have a piece of furniture, you just put all that stuff down there, and then you can just pipe the cable through the wall, and that makes it a lot easier. But if you don't have the I don't know, liberty or the easiness of having a piece of furniture, it becomes much more interesting on getting that done. But the reason I mentioned Samsung is they had a lot of cool stuff that I want to mention. For the frame, they're coming out this year with their own soundbar that's designed specifically to match the frame. So in the past, you'd have to go buy a third-party soundbar if you wanted something that was kind of thin that matched up. But now they'll have their own. A lot of other soundbar stuff coming, like crazy stuff like 11-channel Atmos surround. Integrates with the television, so you got 32 speakers, and a lot of stuff. And I don't know if that's fluff or if it's cool or not, but maybe we'll find out as the year goes along. But the big thing is the new micro LED stuff. And that's just kind of the next evolution. And they say, it's better than OLED. And a lot of people are agreeing that, blacks are just completely black, just like OLED just turns off. This stuff's just off, right? So it can't get darker.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't get darker than off.
Yeah. It's just off, right? So it's super dark. So I think pricing on it is still at the astronomical level, but kind of cool stuff there. And then they're doing a little the freestyle projector.
Yeah, that was really cool. That's I think they're going to sell a boatload of those.
I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I could use this here, and I could have one of those over here. It seems kind of cool, right?
Yeah. I think they've got. They built a product that, obviously, if we're talking in a home theater crowd, it can only do 100 inches. It's not going to be able to probably be, as bright as, what we're talking about when we're talking about a 4K laser or, something by comparison. But I think for, again, toss it around, put it in the kids' room, throw it in the family room, put it in the bedroom. Obviously, you get all the people that want to project it onto the ceiling, toss it in the backyard, on a sheet. I mean, it's really designed to be, a product that you can move around. Whereas, how many of us, we're not going to take, a great home theater projector, and dismount it from the home theater every time we want to, go play something. That's right.
And it's only HD quality.
It is.
But, one of the cool things, if I understand this right, is no matter where you take it and aim it, it re-squares itself.
It does.
That is amazing that it can do that. Me too. Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah. And that's where I was getting in trouble. I'm like, I need to play with that. I'm going to need to
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I need somebody from Samsung. Please come join the audience. I mean, we want to be your champions here with all this cool stuff.
That's right. That's right. No, I got some people. We'll see what we can do for a demo. We'll send it around the three of us. But
absolutely.
But I do think it's cool. I think they threw. Which if you're gonna have it, why not? But they threw some gimmicky stuff. They put the little light on the top, so it kind of creates an ambient. I don't know that I'd spend $1,000 or $900 on an ambient light.
No,
But if you already bought it, I get it. It's got a nice little speaker on it. So, I think it's cool tech. I think they're going to sell a ton of them because I think for a lot of people, it's that second zone. And I haven't played with it enough, but it also seems to have a way to be able to mirror what's on your TV. So I don't know if that's only with Samsung or if it's an Android thing. But what I saw in the video somewhere
from your TV.
Yeah, so basically it's casting. So whatever you're watching on the TV, you could basically throw on a projector in another room. So again, for a lot of people, it's cool factor, right? And you can play around with the stuff. So I think it's really cool. And same thing, I've got to play around with some micro LED stuff in the past. I think it's super cool technology. When we imagine those full walls, worth of TV, and viewing space, I think that's going to be there. It's still so expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you start talking
it's
about
high end.
yeah, 100 grand plus for a for a wall. I think that's where you really sit there and go, well, now that Sony GTZ 380 and a Stewart screen's looking like a great value.
It is, yeah. Did you see LG announced a 325-inch video wall?
Dude, it's just humongous.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
1.8 million.
I mean, where do you even put something that size at? I mean,
who's got a 325-inch wall to hang?
I mean, that's like a 24-foot wall or something tall.
But they start on the commercial side, right? I mean, there's plenty of businesses that would
look. The sports bars are buying these things like crazy.
Yeah, but hopefully some of these things start in some of those technologies, and you start seeing them on the commercial side, and then eventually it filters down as costs come down, and then they come into the consumer side where more of us can buy it.
Was it LG who showed the rollable OLED television? Yeah. So you have today. People will do like the pop-up screens, right? And they're motorized, and and then you use a ultra short throw projector on the screen. Well, this takes away the projector. It's just like the screen actually rolls up. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And that thing was crazy expensive too.
Yeah, it was. I think that was like 100 grand too for like a 65 or
but for a little tiny one.
But it's got to start. What I always love seeing in the stuff is the two areas, right? It's that bleeding edge of stuff that most of us are never going to be able to afford and to be able to buy. Hopefully somebody does, because that's what spurs it on. And then, like I said, it trickles down into more usable products later on. So, I think it's great to be able to see this stuff, because that means, whether it's in 10 years or our lifetime or our kids' lifetime, somebody's going to have a video wall that literally when you walk in, you're going to be able to, and it's like you're almost walking into that next door neighbor, right? I can call Jiles and it looks like his family room's right there when I'm walking in.
Yeah. Right? It's like the house just continues, right?
That's right. That's right.
Well, if you think about it, all of the newer model phones now that are the foldable, and they have new foldable laptops. Everything's going foldable now. Yeah. So, I feel like I'm stuck in olden days with this iPhone 13, because I want to be able to flip this thing open and have a screen that's that's double the size. How cool would that be? That would be amazingly awesome. That'd be so cool. And now just look at my iPhone and I'm like, just bought you 13 Pro Max, whatever. Samsung, you have my heart.
There you go. There you go.
The last thing I'm going to bring up, and if you guys have more stuff, we can keep talking about CES. And I was sad that I wasn't there. I will be there next year as long as things aren't crazy. But BMW released their e-ink car.
That was crazy.
Is it not just the coolest thing ever?
It was.
Yeah. Again, it's just amazing. And it's frankly an older technology, new use case, right? But it's still not even a current use case, frankly. It's it's a future use case, but it's e-ink, right? I mean, that's like what they use in what the Barnes and Noble, like the e-readers, and I remember having I remember having an old cell phone that used that before in the in the first screen. So really cool, right? So cool. Anybody who didn't get to see it, definitely check it out. But I thought it was, it kind of went grayish black into a white. And I think it's super cool. Again, I'm sure the police aren't super happy about stuff like that.
Oh, they have to be.
They left in a white car. And now your car's
pair that up with they make digital license plates now that work in a, and so I'm like, I just need a color changing car and a digital license plate. Good to go. Let's.
I want my car to be like a super RGB'd out computer, with like the just psychedelic crazy. Oh, all right. Okay, I think enough of that. But now we're going to move on into Joey P world a little bit, because it's time to talk about 2022 movies.
Ooh, yeah.
Welcome on down to Content Corner, everybody. I'm not going to do music, but Joey, I understand that you are super excited about some stuff that's coming out in 2022.
I am.
So let's hear it, man. What you got?
Okay.
The first one. Out laughing.
Well, the first one is just cracks me up. So I say the first one because this is coming out the very beginning of next month. And if you haven't seen the trailer for it yet, as soon as we get finished here, if you're on YouTube, just go do a search and look for Jackass Forever.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I've not watched the trailer for it, but I was all like, is it going to be classier? How are they going to get better? How does this, how do they keep expanding this franchise?
They've expanded it. It is. And what's funny is you see Johnny Knoxville, all gray hair, and Steve-O has got his shirt on. So.
He's got his shirt on. Oh, the world has changed.
It is. But, so they're showing some of the highlights of the stunts in the trailer and stuff. But I number one, I don't see how they think of this stuff. It is insane. And number two, how they convince people to do some of the stuff that they're doing is there's got to be a lot of money changing hands, or there's a lot of lack of brain cells going on.
There's both. There's a lot of lack of brain cells and many dollars. Double A's like, you can't look away.
It's true. That is so true. Yeah. So anyway, so we'll move on from Jackass Forever. The really big one that's coming up quickly, and it's right, and it debuts like a couple of days after Jackass Forever, is Moonfall.
Yeah.
And I just think that's going to be, it's a big CGI sci-fi movie, but I'm anticipating a really, really cool immersive audio soundtrack in that thing. So
now is Moonfall. Okay, so there's a trailer that I saw that I can't remember if it's Moonfall or not, but it's like in whatever they went to the moon and they went around it, but then they were gone for 3 minutes and they were like, we're inside the moon later. Is that the movie?
It's
I can't remember.
It's the trailer where you see the moon rising on the horizon, but it's like
close.
Instead of it being 250, million miles out there or whatever, 1,000 miles out there, it's like at the atmosphere, and so it's crazy. But it's supposedly the moon is not the moon.
This is a different movie than I'm thinking of. Then
yes,
okay. All right,
yeah. Go find the trailer for that this afterwards, and it's by the guys that made like Independence Day and all these big, disaster movies. It's by the same team that's done that. So
and just for anybody out there, if the moon did crash into the Earth, it would be extremely unfortunate for us.
Yes. Yeah. Have you guys seen Don't Look Up?
I just started watching it. I watched the first few minutes of it, and man, that they are just busting on every part of the political spectrum possible. It's great. Yeah. They're just giving it to them.
Really
they're calling everybody out with that. It's great.
Yeah, it had a decent soundtrack in it. I've got one more movie I want to bring up. On March 4th, The Batman comes out, and I don't know who. I can't remember who's directing this, but it looks like they really did it in the style of Christopher Nolan's movies, that trilogy. So, but Giles, can I ask the audience a question?
Absolutely.
Okay, this is Batman related. Now, in Batman, I think it's the Riddler that's the bad guy in it.
Sure, yeah. You say the coffee with the question mark in it.
Yeah. But I want to ask and answer in the chat. I can't see the chat, so Giles, you'll have to tell us what's going on. So here's my question, and wait till you hear the answer before you start typing. The options.
This is multiple choice.
That's right. I want to know who you think played the best Joker in all the Batman. So you've got, so who played the best Joker is the question. So there was Jack Nicholson, right? There was Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
There was Joaquin Phoenix, right? Mark Hamill played the Joker once, right? Yeah. So you got Mark Hamill and Matthew Modine.
Who's Matthew Modine? Which one was he?
You are not a movie fan.
No, I can't place it. You got to help me. Help me.
Let's see what your audience
Obi-Wan.
says first.
Who was the guy who played Joker in the original television series?
I don't remember
that's
what that
mine.
name was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But he's
are
not the
people
current
answering in the chat?
The TOS, the original series.
Yeah. So what are you seeing in the chat?
We've got Keith Ledger so far. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reese
Matthew
is like
Modine. Matthew Modine.
We got another Heath Ledger. Full Metal Jacket.
Matthew Modine is mine, but he was the Joker in Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Double A was all like Full Metal Jacket.
There you go. That Double A, he's a rock star, man.
He is a rock star.
So true movie fans got that question.
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever watched Full Metal Jacket all the way through.
I rewatched it the other day.
And it is just not my kind of movie.
Yeah. It's been a lot of years. I think I was probably 17, 18, watching it with your buddies when it's like you're right at that age of like, the rated R stuff. And, that was the time, Full Metal Jacket, Platoon, again, a lot of those movies were coming out around that time. But I don't tend to watch, although I will say, 1917, there's a few movies that, that I've gone through that I think, work well, Fury in the past, but although a lot of times I think I probably watch them more showing the scenes than I do watch, so I feel like I've watched it a lot more times than I have. Because I'll use some of the scenes like in 1917 and stuff like that regularly. Yeah. But I don't watch but I think I've only seen the movie itself once,
It's Heath Ledger
so many times. Is it Heath?
Yeah, it's Heath Ledger. And I would agree with Heath Ledger.
I figured that.
I would as well. I think Joaquin Phoenix.
I was looking for the movie enthusiast out there who called the Matthew Modine piece.
There you go.
Well, King Phoenix was all like, it's a little too real. I was like, I could see somebody going crazy like this.
That's right.
This is super creepy. I mean, and he was all like, he was in it. I mean, he was that character. He was that person. I'm like, I'm from Alabama, and I know people like this. This is real. It's too real. Take me to fantasy land.
Yep. He
he
portrayed it super real, but that didn't always make for the best Joker. And I think we all just think about the Joker as the Joker, right? Not in the origin story of it. And that's such a slow-paced origin story. Even when we think of origin stories like Batman, as it came back in, it's like you see the origins and they keep refreshing, or a Spider-Man or something like that. Yeah. But this one is really, it's the pre-origin origin.
Right.
And I think it was super scary because of the way that it was portrayed, because you're like, no, that actually happens and exists. Whereas Heath Ledger is, again, super freaky, super scary, but it's that comic book fantasy side of it where it's okay, this is over the top, but he does it so well.
Now, who was the Joker from the Marvel movie? Not Marvel movie, the DC movie, the remake where they redid all the stuff, like the Schneider cut.
Yeah.
So at the
I can't remember that guy's name. He's in the movie. He's in that upcoming movie. What is it?
I can't remember who that was. There was a Joker at the end of the Schneider cut, and I don't know who that was.
That's He was in Suicide Squad.
That's Leto.
Leto. Okay. Yeah. So,
yes.
Yeah.
So he's in an upcoming movie.
Yeah. So another option in there.
I think that he's gonna, when he has a really big role showing off his character, I think that Ledger and him are going to be. Yeah. I think he's gonna take some market share.
I like him. I think a lot of people got thrown off by the tatted version, and a lot of them are just people that are, they were Jack Nicholson fans or Ledger fans, and so I get that. But when you go into the comic books, these guys change all the time, right? I mean, so I think if you look at it from that perspective, people got thrown and never really got that much seen, in any of the movies that he's been in, in that role, and Suicide Squad and all the rest. He's always kind of just that big animated character at the end. But yeah, I think he could do the job.
I think he's going to kill it. Yeah. And talking about killing it, there's a lot of other stuff coming out. So, and I'm going to go through some of these pretty fast. And I don't know a lot about all of them other than I just think they look cool, or I've seen part of the trailer, or I've seen pictures. But Death on the Nile is a new murder mystery movie that
That's got like an all-star casting.
Yeah. It looks exciting. It's part 2, right? So this guy was it Murder on the Orient Express?
Yeah.
Was the first one. So now this is Death on the Nile.
Death on the Nile.
Is Death on the Nile another Christie book, Agatha Christie?
I don't know.
So, it might be that they're doing her books now, like in a modern take on it. Uncharted is coming out, and I think isn't Uncharted the one that's got Spider-Man in it?
Yes, it's got
not Tobey Maguire, the other one.
Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Anything
really that's got Mark Wahlberg in it?
I'm a big fan of his. No, I'm not a fan because of that.
Oh, dude, this guy, he was a rapper. He was like a Calvin Klein underwear model. He's in the movies, and he's all buffed out. Dude, it's just what more could you want? That dude's awesome.
That's right.
You're supposed to pick movies that he was in, not underwear commercials.
Whatever. Calvin Klein, baby. Roll it back to like 1989 or whenever it was.
That's right.
Keeping it real.
Yeah. Next movie.
That's why Jiles likes Justin Bieber as well.
No, I'm not a Bieber fan. No, I was just passing that. The Lost City is the next one. So I wonder if this is going to be like what was that? The gem, the Jewel of the Nile, the Gem of the Nile. Remember that one from way back when?
Yep.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if it was kind of like that, because I loved those. I think it was 2 movies in that series.
It was
so good. And moving back over to Marvel world, we've got Morbius coming up. Now,
that's that Leto in it. Yeah.
That's right. But nobody knows what universe is this in. Is it like in the old Sony universe, but it's not MCU? But is it going to be part of canon, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. Did anybody have any thoughts about that? Probably not. Yeah.
Not yet.
And then Fantastic Beasts: The Secret of Dumbledore.
Yeah.
I wonder what a secret is. I don't know. Then you got the Northman, and all I know about the Northman
that looks really good.
All I know is that on the poster, it's got this really buffed out dude. That's all I got.
It's almost like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan movie. His family gets killed, and he's after revenge.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I need to go rewatch those, the old Schwarzenegger movies for Conan. I really liked those back in the day. Did you guys ever see a movie called The Barbarians?
Yeah.
And it had it had twins in it, and they were twin barbarians.
Yeah.
Comedy. Everybody needs to go check that one out. That's your B movie.
My goodness, that was pleasure. 40 years ago too.
It was probably 25 or 30 for real legit ago. Yeah. No, gosh, it could have been 35 even.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Oh,
it was almost 40.
God.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
That's going to be.
That looks wild.
Yeah.
Now, is it true that this is going to be Cumberbatch's, whatever his name is, last go around as Doctor Strange?
I have not heard that. If that's
I haven't heard that either.
That's what I've heard.
Okay,
that's what I've heard. I don't know.
So he opened it all up with Spider-Man, and then and then that's it. So I don't know. It's one of those where, again, where do you get your next Doctor Strange, right? I mean, you don't know. It's like saying, can you kill off Iron Man? Do you make a new Iron Man? Is it a replacement Iron Man? I mean, all these things. But it just seems like he's the one opening up a lot of this stuff. He's getting a ton of play right now, in a lot of these latest movies. So I'm curious to see if it's his last one. It'll be I heard that somewhere. But it's probably
just
to
research
hearsay.
that.
Yeah, it's just hearsay probably. But what I find really interesting is that the MCU has been able to create this humongous franchise out of what most people considered in the past to be B stars, right? I mean, the Avengers, Iron Man, the Hulk, those were all like the crappy heroes. And seriously, I mean, they really were. Doctor Strange. I wouldn't even read his comic books.
I wouldn't either.
Right? And these movies are amazing. Now, Spider-Man, they were able to claw him back from Sony or whatever and get the stuff going. But the biggest piece of the Marvel universe is the piece that we haven't really seen in any of these movies, which is the whole mutant piece, and that is what defined Marvel comics, right? If you roll back, it was the concept of the mutant, and that is what fueled most of the comic books, especially the popular ones, and that has been something that hasn't been touched yet. I can't imagine how many people they've got thinking about this and working on it and trying to figure it out right now, because my understanding is that they're bringing in folks, right? So X-Men, X-Force, it's going to happen, and I don't know. One other thing I want to comment on about Marvel is, so they brought back everybody that died except for Iron Man.
Yeah.
Right. So, Vision, they brought him back. Yeah. Black Widow, they brought her back.
Yeah.
Who else died? Nobody else died. No, the good guys died. So, except to Iron Man, right? So, do they bring Iron Man back?
Well, I think they end up with an Ironheart, or there's other players that have taken over Iron Man's mantle in the past. So I have a feeling that that'll be the new one. I mean, I think as they look at Tom Holland's Spider-Man, again, he plays such a tightly woven role with Iron Man, right? I mean, he's got the tech suit, he's got so I think that a lot of that you kind of have the mantle being maybe brought over to a couple different people in there. I think Iron Man, for a lot of us in this latest phase 1 for or 1 through 3 for Marvel, that kicked it off, right? Again, totally. and this is where it'll be interesting, because you hear this saying when you see the Spider-Mans, which have obviously done super well in this latest version, but there's always a group that says, like, okay, why are you remaking this again, right? Or obviously, no spoilers on there, but we're a little ways past it now. But as you look at this Spider-Man really became kind of a fan favorite, right? Because dude, it's already out there now. But you have them all from the beginning, right? And the guys that are like, oh, Tobey Maguire is the only true Spider-Man. I'm like, really? But again, he was a great Spider-Man, but I don't know that that's, there were so many things. By the time you got to number 3, everybody was complaining about the third Spider-Man. Now all of a sudden everybody loves him because it's nostalgia from the past, right? And so I think Iron Man keeps that same mantle where he's been in so many of these movies that he's that constant in there. But I'm curious to see, you brought up like X-Men and X-Force and the rest, but X-Men, they've done a good job. I love all movies. So, you go out and you get to watch it, and it's kind of a slice to, take away from everything else. But, again, a lot of people, or overall, X-Men has never really been executed super well. I think you've got fan favorites and like a Hugh Jackman and guys like that, fit that role to a T, and you wonder who does that next, right? Or can we get him in a cameo now that we're in multiverse again?
You know what? He's what, 55 now or something?
Yeah, something like,
But he, there, when they cast, I think the first X-Men, some of the casting was just absolutely spot on, right? So Professor Xavier, absolutely perfect. Wolverine, absolutely perfect. And I feel like while those movies were pretty good, I think that they, these actors were wasted to a certain extent on the scripts that they had at the time. And if they have the crew of folks, the writers, and all of the engine that goes into the MCU, churn out content for them to perform. Now, if we could roll the clock back 20 years, oh man, I mean, talking about another dreamy dude. Hugh Jackman, he is. I mean, that dude is awesome. I mean, he just. I love to watch everything he's in. I don't care what it is, because he's such a good actor. He's amazing, dude. He can sing. He can act. I mean, his range is crazy. Everything from Les Miserables to what's the one where he's in the circus? P.T. Barnum or Barnum's and Bailey's.
The Big Show? What is
the Big Show.
We're all sitting here talking about how much we love movies, and now we're all blanking. It's too late in the night.
At least I can remember Hugh Jackman. That one where he sings and he's
The
does
greatest
that
show on earth.
Yeah, greatest.
the greatest show. Yeah.
Greatest show.
And
Yeah.
all the way to
Greatest show.
X-Men, right? I mean, they're so
Mhm.
different, but super talented. I mean, he's super awesome. And I think people even say he's like a cool dude too, right?
Yeah.
And I saw a story where one of his children, I think he's got a son, and his son was like trying to be cool as a teenager, like meet the girls and stuff like that, and she's all like, "Oh, your dad's Wolverine." He's like, yeah man, I can hook you up, I can introduce you. And he's like, dad, come on, you gotta help me, come on dad, please. He's like, all right son, let's go do this. Anyway, so we'll move on, and I'm just gonna plow through these because we're a little bit over. So Top Gun Maverick, my only question about that movie is, will they all be sweaty? No, go back and watch Top Gun. It's like they are all hosed down in every scene.
Yeah.
They were. Hey,
I mean,
I saw it when it came out in the theater.
It's ridiculous, right? It's just, I don't know.
Again,
Jurassic World,
and they're
Dominion.
fun, but they just come into that nostalgia piece, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and Tom Cruise doesn't age.
yes,
Never.
I mean, he's well preserved.
Yeah.
Time traveler.
Well preserved. So Jurassic World Dominion, now, is that in the same world as all the other Jurassic movies, or is it something different? I don't know.
We'll find out on June the 10th.
Right on. Yeah, I don't know. Lightyear, Buzz Lightyear, so I'm looking forward to that. Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Another Black Adam.
Yeah.
And I thought Black Adam was like a bad guy. Is he like a anti-hero? Because I thought in the comic books he slaughtered everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I think he there's a little bit more blood and everything else in it, but I mean, I think that anti-hero is still a hero in these, Punisher and all the rest. But
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Good point.
Again,
All right, and then Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. That's the sequel to the first animated Spider-Man. We've got The Flash coming, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Forever, which is a poignant movie, and I'm looking forward to see what they do with that. And then my number one most wanted to see movie for 2022, Avatar 2.
Yes. December. When is that? December 20th.
It's like I think it's a Christmas time movie or something. Yeah. I just. Yeah. Oh my God.
What have we waited on for this thing for 12, 13 years now?
It's been forever. And
it's not longer than that.
It's a long time. Come on, what's his name? Cameron or whatever. His name is.
Cameron.
Yeah. I did see where he was shooting. What? All four of them.
All at one time. I think the next three, right?
Yeah. Because if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it?
Yeah, and people are
have another 12 years per series to go through, right? But
that's right. Yeah.
Well, and I saw the other day, so coming from again a movie lover side of it, we get people, and I always got people from the Kaleidoscape side asking, when are they going to do 4K of The Abyss? When are they going to, again, he's done some great movies that have never gotten the 4K treatment. And I know I saw them posting out the other day. So again, hearsay for where it is, but they said that he was going to be jumping on to, upgrading The Abyss in there.
Taking pot shots at me.
I gotta say, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I'm like,
everybody was like, "What?"
In there. And it's a great movie. Look, it set the tone for at its time, right? I mean, again, it was huge, but yeah, I don't know that it was my favorite, but I will definitely be watching it. But yeah,
I just wonder if Sigourney Weaver is gonna be in there, because I've always been a humongous Sigourney Weaver fan. Aliens, Ghostbusters, Half Moon Street, if you're into that kind of stuff. But no, she's just always for me been one of my absolute favorites, and I haven't really looked to see what the cast looks like and if they're bringing back some of the people from before, but I would hope that she's in there, because I thought she did a great job in the original.
If you look at some of the other movies, you got to think the nostalgia is playing big, right? So if you're going to build a movie right now, that's a number 2, 3, 4, whatever. I think you got to start bringing in some of those people. So
the problem though is that the cast is getting.
Oh yeah, it's got to be a cameo role type thing, right? Versus being in the main person. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
So I'll ask you guys the same question, Joey. most anticipated movie of 2022 right now? I know it could change every day by day, but right now, what are you going to say?
I'm going to go with Top Gun.
Top Gun, right? It's because of the sweat, right?
No. It's not.
That's the only reason I want to see it. It's going to be sweaty.
Yeah. You know, I remember seeing the original in the theater, and when it came out, and I mean, I walked out of the theater thinking I need to join the Navy. And you know, the Navy had a huge increase of enlistment in '86 after that movie came out because the effects were so good. You really believed that sucker was in those planes. And now that you know that Tom Cruise flies, I mean, he did that helicopter scene, right?
Yep.
And that he does this stuff. I mean, and his stunts are just next level. I mean, the next Mission Impossible, what, 7? When's that coming out? Yeah.
Sometime in 22.
And it's like, man, he takes the stunts to the next level. And that you know that's that guy doing it. That I don't know. There's just something that intrigues me. To see what he's up to.
He is a master at what he does. I mean,
absolutely.
You know, there are people that like Tom Cruise and they don't like Tom Cruise, but you can't knock what he brings to the movie. I mean, he does a wonderful job as an actor.
Yep.
Absolutely,
and for decades now, right? I mean, there's just not that many people.
Dude, we're all gonna be in wheelchairs, no teeth, IVs, and everything. Be like, Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible 42 is coming out next year. And he's gonna look like he's 35,
beating people with a cane. You see him like hook it up and start sliding down.
Oh, dude, he won't have a cane. He'll be like, look at this thick hair.
That's right. There are just those guys, though. I mean, that's I think where Keanu Reeves comes in. Charlize Theron. There's a few people that do their own
age well, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does most of all.
She's a beautiful woman, and she's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I think there's always a bunch of those, and again, I think for me, as much as I they keep rebooting it, but I think the Batman, and Doctor Strange are probably the two that I'm looking forward to. I'm always curious as to what they're going to do. I think the last set of, the Nolan set of Batman was great. It was dark. Was awesome. I think Atomic Blonde, absolutely.
Yeah, good one. Giles walked out of the theater saying, I need those short pants they were wearing.
Joey's going to join the Navy, and Giles is ready to play a little volleyball
in the Navy. Oh no, but
he got you on that one, Giles.
He got me. Oh, I don't even know what to say anymore. All right, so let's see. Was there anything else to talk about? Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I skipped that one. I think I might have skipped MI7 too. But yeah, a lot of good stuff coming. Oh, Brett, you've told us your favorites. Joey, you've told us your favorites.
Yeah.
Anybody that's watching this back later, I'd be interested to hear what you've got to think or to say about that. So comment down below. Let us know what your favorites are. I think we're going to move into cleanup now. And cleanup is where I just talk about upcoming projects, and you guys can talk about upcoming projects too. But I started like 1 million YouTube channels. So I discovered one of the issues that my channel has is I was just trying to be too diverse in it. And so I now have Home Theater Fanatics, and I have another channel that I'm going to change the name of at some point. I'll probably just call it Giles McCoy, Master of All Tech.
Is that where we're going to see the TV install?
No, the TV install is up on Home Theater Fanatics right now. So that's live. Yeah, that's good to go. It's got like 3 views or something. It's not doing that well. Thanks, Samsung.
Yeah, I look through my subscriptions of my YouTube subscriptions every day, and there's 10 of your channels on there with some posts.
Yeah, and then the live stream, I created a channel for it, and what I discovered is that it was really dragging down my main channel.
Wow.
In general, folks that want to watch live streams, they'll go and find the live streams, but everybody else, they don't want to see it. And what YouTube does is it'll just take one of your videos and throw it out there and see what happens, right? And most of the time, if it's a live stream, people will be like, I'll pass on that. That thing's like 1 hour and 20 minutes long. I just want like 3 minutes. So they just don't do well, and that kind of drags down everything because YouTube says, oh, people don't like your video, so I'm not going to show any more of them, right? And the only way to be successful on YouTube is for YouTube to be your cheerleader, right? And so there are three phases of being good on YouTube. Phase one is you just put movies up and you don't care. Phase two is you try and create good content, you try and edit well, you try and think about what people want to see. And then the third phase, which is ultimate success, that means that YouTube actually likes your stuff and shows and advertises for you. Until you hit that point, and nobody knows what that magical switch is for YouTube to really like you, but you can't be successful until that happens.
I've got a channel suggestion for you. You need to make a Giles McCoy shorts and just do little 60-second shorts.
Are you talking like shorts like from the volleyball scene?
The video. Or? No, the video shorts. What was the name of that movie we talked about first?
Shorts the whole time.
Today they're pink. Tomorrow they're lime green.
Go ahead, Joey. Shorts videos. The hashtag shorts videos. Those seem, short form video is the #1 type of content that's being pushed out now. And so I see a lot of content creators adding shorts, little because it only gives you 60 seconds to make your point. So
right on. Yeah. I mean,
but
there's so much stuff to do. I've also got a home remodel upgrade channel that's got like 3 videos on it. I've got a channel for virtual reality stuff. My wife has she's got a couple of monetized channels already, one for artwork, and she's got another one for exercise equipment and stuff. So we're creating this empire. I don't know when I'm gonna have time to do all this stuff, but anyway, for this content, make sure you find HTF Live out there and subscribe to that channel, because that's where all of the old content will live in perpetuity. So all the old videos are there. New videos will stream to a lot of places, but they're only going to live long term on HTF Live. And I think that's all I'm going to call out right now. I'm going to be doing a lot of PC builds over the next several weeks. So a lot of my focus is going to be on PC and gaming. And then I'll come back around. I'm setting up an Onkyo AVR right now. I'm going to be filming all that stuff and looking at how the new Onkyo stuff has Klipsch-specific speaker settings, so how that interfaces with a Klipsch setup. So I'm going to do a 5.1.2 setup and show people how all that stuff works together. So a lot of cool stuff coming from that point of view. And hopefully in 22, I'll also be able to show Aspect, Joey.
I'll remind Rick tomorrow.
He'll be like, Giles, don't believe me.
No, believe it or not, he actually brings it up himself without me nudging him. So
I can't say enough about the whole Aspect thing. I think it's a game changer for the company. I think it's probably
it is a game changer in room corrections. We have a lot of high-end dealers, and when they first got their hands on it, they came back, and I remember one guy said, "Man, this thing's not a toy. It's not a joke. This is and he used the word. He said, "This is a game changer." Yeah. And
So we'll ask the question of each of you guys, and then we'll call it. Joey, what's coming up in life for you? Anything new that you want folks to know about?
No, we're still onboarding new dealers, which is always exciting to carry our product. So that's always fun to do, and we're ready for the global chip shortage to be done with. Yeah, whoever's building new chip factories, build them in the right place is key, and and make tons of them. But other than that, we're once the chip shortage gets done, we're really keyed up for tungsten release in the Aragon line.
That's the cool new preamp, right?
Yeah, it's the big bad boy. Yeah,
it's super cool.
It is super cool. Yeah. So if you're doing vinyl, if you're back into 2-channel because of vinyl or streaming, a tungsten with some iridiums or titanium amp. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think that has become the dream system for a lot of people. When I saw it, I was all like, "This is how I like to do 2-channel." I mean, that speaks to me, and I think there are a lot of people out there like me who want that awesome sound, but want it to have like a technologic edge to it.
Yeah. And that tungsten, and not to get in it here because it would just drag us on, is in that price range, it's a pretty big price range. If you look at all the different models in that price range, we offer like 7 features that nobody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
and they're cool. Yeah, if people want to hear more about that, you can go back to the interview that I did with all the Accurate folks, I guess. And that was, I don't know, a month ago or something like that. Maybe 2 months
back in
ago.
December. Yeah, December, the second week of December, I think.
Yeah, so it's out there. Go check it out, and there's a lot more detail there about
147
it.
maybe.
That's only 3 ago, so yeah, that's less than a month. So time flies when you're having fun.
There you go.
It is. Yeah.
And then, Brett, anything else that people should be on the lookout from you?
You know, like I said in the beginning, starting up some new stuff. So hopefully, pretty soon you guys will see me chatting about some manufacturers. And again, in the meantime, I'm definitely hanging out in the forums and chatting with everybody there. I am actually building out a few videos as well that I'll probably start putting up. So you can catch me on Facebook and LinkedIn at Market Maker. So MRKTMKR. And I'll be posting some videos up there. But like I said, I just put up my Sony, so I've got a video of me installing it from that perspective. I've got some James loudspeakers that I'm throwing up in my walls coming up pretty soon as well. And then I've got a backyard project that I've been working on as well. So with a 8-speaker, 1-sub Sonance system that'll run in for my backyard. So like I said, keeping busy in the meantime, just kind of working on some of my own stuff. And like I said, if anybody has any questions, reach out. I'm always happy to talk tech.
All right. Sounds good.
Sweet.
Well, thank you guys for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Everybody out there watching, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. It's precious. So I appreciate when you spend it here. And we'll go ahead and call it. Thank you guys. And we'll see you in the next video.
Pleasure as always.
Thanks, everybody.
Later. See ya.